There are very few directors whose names alone will bring people to the theater. Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Hayao Miyazaki. So before we get into talking about Hayao Miyazaki's new film, The Boy and the Heron, I do want to remind you guys at the top of this video, if you could please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification to be notified whenever I drop new videos. It would be greatly appreciated. So let's get into this. The brand new Hayao Miyazaki film, The Boy and the Heron, originally titled How Do You Live over in Japan, a title that I actually prefer to The Boy and the Heron. We'll maybe get into that a little bit. But yes, his new film, it's been 10 years, and I saw The Wind Rises, his last film, in theaters way back then. And now here we are, a brand new film, and I was actually very excited about this. I went into this not knowing anything, not really watching any clips, maybe like a snippet of a trailer, and that's it. And the story here is pretty much a boy loses his mom, and him and his dad move out to the country, where he stumbles upon this magical, mystical land while he thinks he's going to save his mom in a way. But he also comes across this heron that kind of is courting him to come into this other world and follow him in there to go save or find his mom. And that's where all the crazy, typical Miyazaki stuff happens. And I don't want to go too spoilery into this for people, because I know people love Miyazaki movies and don't want to, go in spoiled, so I ain't gonna do that. But I will say here, I am not okay. I love Miyazaki's movies visually. I'm hit and miss with some movies just from a storytelling perspective sometimes. My favorite being Princess Mononoke. I think that's his best movie, so I'm gonna get that out of the way right now. This movie does feel like a mix and the greatest hits, if you will, of a lot of stuff we've seen from Miyazaki before. Flashes of Spirited Away and a little bit of The Wind Rises in there, and a few of the other films. And specifically, I did keep coming back to Spirited Away, a film I know a lot of people love. And it's a film that I've seen and a film that I don't love. I know I'm going to be in a minority with a lot of Miyazaki fans there, because it never drew me in. I thought it was a little all over the place, and I don't know, it just never clicked with me like a Princess Mononoke did, or even a Ponyo or a Totoro, or a few other ones, Kiki's Delivery Service. I love those ones, but for some reason Spirited Away just never did it for me, and this film is quite a bit Spirited Away, and it really bummed me out because I just couldn't really connect with this movie on the level I wanted to. Now, that's not to say that a lot of the stuff Miyazaki usually does, is bad, because the animation is fantastic. It's incredible. It's absolutely jaw-dropping and stunning, and I got to see this on an IMAX screen, so 2 thumbs up there. It was gorgeous to look at. I thought, I saw this in the dubbed version, so I got the American voice actors. I didn't see the subbed version. But the American voice actors, or the American productions voice actors, because they got some Brits in there doing voices, I thought, pretty solid cast there. I know, like Christian Bale's voice I picked out. Robert Pattinson, I couldn't really pick his voice out, but he was in this cast, along with like Gemma Chan, and Willem Dafoe pops up in there too. Dave Bautista pops up in there. So quite a few names, but the lead voice here is that of Luca Padovan. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I can't say as I've ever heard of this performer before, but they're the lead character, and that lead character is Mahito Makai. I hope I'm saying the last name right. It's Mahito is his first name, and so I think he does a really good job here capturing the young boy going through this adventure, through this weird set of circumstances that he gets kind of thrust into the typical kind of Miyazaki, just fever dream that we normally get. And, this is super high fantasy, super, otherworldly, because there's a world they go into, and this isn't really a whole lot of spoilers if you've seen the trailers maybe, but if I just say giant parakeets, talking herons, and creepy pelicans, a plethora of other things in here which definitely make this not a kid's movie. Like, if you thought Spirited Away was too much for your kid, this is definitely too much for your kids. I mean, there were little kids sitting behind me in the theater for this one, and I ain't gonna lie, this was definitely not the movie for them. I know, it opens up with G Kids, and it's got the Studio Ghibli logo, and it gets you excited, but this is not a kid-friendly movie. Definitely some very, very edgy stuff in here. Well, borderline edgy. I do think it's tame to an extent, but even I was like, I wouldn't take a kid to see this. There's just a little bit too much here. A lot of blood. I'm gonna say that right too. They animated a lot of blood. So from a technical side, they pretty much knock everything out of the park. You know, the animation looks great. Music is always good in this. And I think, you know, Miyazaki's got a very interesting way of looking at things. Just where my biggest problem here is the story. I just couldn't really connect. Like, there's bits and pieces, but I got lost. And the film dragged for me because I was just uninterested in what was happening. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? And what are we doing? It's just like, it's just treading water for quite a bit. And I know I'm probably going to get crucified for saying that, but it just didn't work for me like that. I'm sure other people are just going to gush over it, but I've always had a weird issue too with like hand-drawn animation, or what looks like hand-drawn animation in general. Just something, watching it on a big screen or even at home, something just doesn't click right in my brain, where like it feels like if I watch a 2 hour animated movie, it feels like 3 hours. I don't know what that translation is. If that is just bad pacing, it usually means that. But I've always kind of felt like that even a shorter runtime on an animated film just feels longer than it actually is. I don't know what that is. Maybe there's something scientific there. I don't know. But this film comes in at like 2 hours and 4 minutes. I thought that's a very manageable runtime to do a lot of stuff. But there was a point, at least 20 or 30 minutes, I'm just like, what is the point of any of this? Why are we treading this water? What does this have to do? Like, there's just stuff in segments. I'm just like, what does this have to do with anything other than it's cool visuals and fantastic animation and good voice work? That's where it really bogs this movie down for me. It bums me out because, like I said, on an IMAX screen, this is absolutely stunning, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. But the fact I'm sitting there and I can't engage with this story, I can't. You know, I'm feeling like there's pieces missing. I feel like there's threads missing because we just kind of go from here to there to there to there, and then like there's a big kind of resolution at the end, and I don't feel satisfied. I left not feeling satisfied, other than being like, I saw a gorgeous, it was gorgeous, but emotionally, I just didn't feel that connection. Story wise, I didn't feel a sense of completion or a sense that I followed this big arc. It just, I don't know. It just didn't work for me the way I wanted it to, and it bums me out. And I hate saying that because I know other people are going to be like, oh, well, you just don't get it. Get off your antidepressants. I mean, it's going to hit everybody differently, and that's how it hit me, and that's how, like, even Spirited Away hit me. I felt the same exact way, and I just felt like it was him doing Spirited Away again, to an extent. I know they're two totally different movies and stories and characters, but there's a lot of similarities there, and I don't know, for me, it just didn't work completely. But at the end of the day, I am going to give this a C+. Look, I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. There's definitely some great moments and great animation and moments of redemption, but a lot of it just falls short for me. It's like, we waited 10 years for this, a greatest hits movie? I don't know. And I'm sure, again, I know people won't agree with me. Hardcore Miyazaki fans will disagree with me completely, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. Like, I wanted to enjoy this, and if you enjoyed this, I am very happy for you and jealous because I wanted to. I really did. I mean, I love Princess Mononoke, and I've been kind of waiting for the next, for another Miyazaki movie to kind of go above Mononoke, and nothing has yet. And I know that's a high bar. This is a high bar to meet, but it is what it is. What about you guys? Are you into Hayao Miyazaki movies? Did you go see The Boy and the Heron? Do you think it should have had a different name? Because I do prefer the Japanese name to this. What was it called again? It was called How Do You Live? That's what it was called. And the way this story plays out, and if you've seen the movie, it's a more fitting title than The Boy and the Heron, because I was even mixed on the Heron's motivations at a couple points. It was kind of murky, and I'm like, well, you lure the kid here, and then your actions are like different. It just didn't land for me. It didn't mesh. That's just me. What do you guys think? I already asked that question. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. I'm sure you're going to give me some hate, and that's okay. Again, hit that like button, subscribe button, the little bell notifications up there to be notified whenever I drop new videos, so you could be the first person to jump on me and tell me I'm wrong, which is also fine. So, yeah. So until the next review, guys, I'll be seeing you.